is Lady Sharona again with Aya. I'm sure you'll remember beautiful Aya from Imok. And anyway, today we are making poppets, and I thought it would be a good idea to sort of let some of you know some of the tricks that go into making poppets, because a lot of you just go out and buy them, you know, from a store. But if you really want to make a magical poppet, I'm sorry, you have to make it yourself, and your sewing machine has to stay in the closet. Okay? So the first thing you do is you have a poppet pattern. Now you see this is a poppet pattern I made, and you see he's got fat legs, fat arms, and fat head. That's so that after we stitch him up, we can still stuff him. We're going to leave the top of the head open so we can stuff him down and then sew him up. Okay? And when you're making a poppet, you should actually, as you're sewing, you stitch, chant. You know, I chant you love, I chant you health, I chant you prosperity, I chant you protection. Whatever your spell is leading to, okay? Right now we're doing a beautiful blue one here, and this is blue silk. Always use real silk or real cotton, okay, for a poppet. And this is pure silk, and as you can see it's a dark blue, and we're using it for protection. So stay with us, because we are going to show you how to completely assemble a poppet for protection. So now, as you see, Aya has cut out the poppet. It's a little hard to cut out satin, but silk, excuse me. But silk or cotton or wool, raw materials are best for magic. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start sewing this poppet up. And this poppet, another name for them, by the way, is fifth faff. And as we do it, we're going to get in a little meditative state and do a little chant, as we do it by hand. Protect this puppet. Protect this puppet. Dear Goddess, protect and keep this person. So Aya, would you like to go on stitching a little bit? And in a minute we're going to take a break, because as you can see, hand sewing and chanting is going to take us a little while to get around the rims of the poppet. But we want to come back and show you how to stuff. So now Aya has sewn up this poppet that we've made of a deep blue silk, because we're going to use this poppet for protection for somebody we know. So the next step is, she's left a hole in the head. I like to leave the hole in the head because, of course, it's the biggest place to put stuff in. Now, a lot of people feel like they have to stuff their poppet from head to toe. Okay, and that's often why they buy pre-made poppets. That's not really the truth. It doesn't matter how fat or scarcely it's done. It depends on what you stuff it with. Okay, so the herbs, the oils, the DNA that is going to go into this is very, very important. So the first thing I'm going to start with, because it's protection, we are going to use a little bit of myrrh. Protection for a girl, and myrrh is a very feminine resin that is great for exercising and protection and keeping anybody safe, but particularly a woman, because it's sacred to Venus, I think. So I'm going to put a little bit of myrrh in there, shake it down into the legs or arms. It doesn't matter where it goes. I mean, don't think your poppet has to be a work of art. It doesn't. It has to be a work of magic. A little bit of difference there. Okay? So right now we can see we're going to throw this other leg a little bit with myrrh. Hers, I'm sorry. So, some more myrrh in there. Okay? And then another protective herb, of course, is lavender. Everybody knows lavender is not only protective, but it brings a sense of calm and peace to people. It's also really good for prosperity. So even though that's not particularly what we're using it for, you can say that if the situation changes and they're not so in peril, they would be able to take advantage of the magic from the lavender. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to put in is some angelica. Why? Angelica, once again, very protective, and its protection comes from on high. So we'll start with some angelica. As you can see, my cat Pazuzu is very interested here because he's hoping one of these jars might contain catnip, probably. I think that's probably the only reason he's so interested. Okay. And then we're going to go for some hyssop. This is even mentioned in the Bible as a protective herb. So that's nothing evil can penetrate the smell of hyssop, whether it's dyed, dried, burnt, fresh. So now our little pockets are starting to get really full. Keep adding other elements as we go. Now, if you see here, I have a particular potion I call Ease Wrath. Now, this is an actual powder that I myself have made, and it's to stop people from maybe being angry at you. It's to keep people from being jealous or angry, cross, wrathful with you in any way at all. So it's sort of a calming and making friends sort of potion. So I'm going to put some of that in here. It's made from various things. I've actually used a recipe from Herman Slater, who was one of my very, very, very first teachers, and it's only been tweaked just a little. So don't tell my daughter that every time she's in one of her teenage moods, I throw this all around the house. It works pretty well too. I think we've had a fight in like 2 months. Okay. Now I'm going to add some coral. Coral is one of the most protective stones that you can use. Well, it actually naturally isn't a stone, it's a similar fossil. These were all picked up on the North Shore of Hawaii by myself. None of it was harvested from live coral. It was all washed up on the beach. And I use it for very special spells on me. And I'm going to use it for this one because coral is protective. It's protective in every way. It's protective against physical violence, emotional violence. It's also protective against the legal system. So if you think that you're going to have a problem with the law, you might want to let me know and I'll make you some legal system. The last thing I'm going to use is another stone, a protective stone naturally, and this is my little jar of goodies, and naturally I'm picking out a protective piece of tourmaline packet. I'm going to put this in. Just fill up the rest. We can also use a little bit more of the blue fabric that we made the poppet out of. See the scraps? Waste not, want not. Witches were never usually that rich, you know. So we put that and then maybe a drop of oil. So what I'm going to put here is a drop of High John the Conqueror. Okay? It's probably one of the most protective, strengthening. You can overcome adversity, overcome obstacles, competitors, make money. You will rise to the top with High John. So I'm going to just like put some drops of that on the blue silk fabric that the poppet was made of. I'm going to stuff it back in here. so. I'm going to add a little bit more myrrh. Some more lavender. Not catnip, I'm sorry, Susan. And Aya is then going to stitch up her little puppet. Oh, we need one piece more. We need some DNA. Did you bring your friend's DNA? Did you bring any hair or nails? Here we have our protection puppet filled up with all kinds of oils and herbs. And he's made, as I said, of real silk, blue silk, which is protective. And now, I have here some hair. Now this is of Aya's friend who is in particular need of protection at this moment due to an accident she had. So we're going to stuff that in there. Now, putting hair or nails or spit or blood into a puppet, what you're doing is marking DNA. Now that this has Aya's friend's hair, this actually becomes a symbol of her. It carries her DNA, but it's filled with all kinds of protective and healing substances for her. Okay? So the last thing that we are going to have to do is sew the rest of the head up and bless the puppet. We will take the athamay, bless the puppet, give it a name, and set it in a circle of salt for protection and healing over the next few days. So that is how you make a puppet. It's a lot of work. It doesn't look nice. You can buy one from a store, it's going to look so beautiful, whatever. No. You've got to make your own puppet. You've got to make it with your own skills, love, energy, and willpower. And this puppet is going to save her friend from a lot of grief and therefore make us happy. So, you can make puppets for any purpose, love, happiness, protection, or whatever. But today we made a protection puppet for you to see, to keep all evil away. And yeah, it's not the Mona Lisa, but I guarantee this puppet will work. Okay? It's Lady Sharona and Aya, and telling you blessed be, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay?